Imagine the soldiers at war sitting in their defensive fighting positions looking out on the horizon. Now imagine the enemy coming at them from 600 yards away. Will they be able to accurately engage them from that distance with the right weapon? Could you do it if you were in their shoes? Hello, my name is Matthew Ross, and today I'm going to talk to you about the 4 fundamentals of marksmanship. The first fundamental that I'm going to tell you about is aiming. You need to always have a good sight picture. If you can't see what you're shooting at, then you can't hit your target. The next step is sight alignment. With a scope, you simply put your crosshairs on the target and squeeze the trigger. With the iron sights, you will line up your front sight and your rear sights with the target and focus on the front sight post. This will give you the most accurate shot. Now that we've covered aiming, we'll move on to the next fundamental, steady position. If you are lying on your stomach, make sure your heels are on the ground. Even the slightest movement from your feet can throw off your shot. If you are kneeling and want to prop your elbows on your knees, make sure that it is not bone on bone. You want your elbow bone on your leg meat or your knee on your arm meat. If you have bone on bone, it can cause you to wobble much more easily. The last part of steady position is try to be as comfortable as possible. You never know how long you're going to be there, so you might as well get comfortable anyway. Now that we're halfway there, the next fundamental is breathing. Your breathing can throw your shot up and down. When you shoot, you always want to shoot after you exhale. When you inhale, the air in your lungs changes after each breath. You can inhale more than you can exhale. After you exhale, the air is typically the same amount in your lungs. You have a 2 to 3 second natural respiratory pause, and that is the ideal time that you want to take your shot in. In between each breath, you naturally stop breathing for 2 to 3 seconds. Most people don't realize this, but that is the perfect time to shoot. The last and most important fundamental of shooting that I'm going to talk to you about is trigger control. Many people say that you should put the tip of your index finger on the base of the trigger, while some people say the middle pad of your index finger should be placed on the trigger. I have found that it depends on the size of your hand. For some people like myself with larger hands, it is much more comfortable to put the middle pad of my index finger instead of the tip of my finger on the trigger. The main thing to remember when pulling the trigger is make sure it is a slow, steady trigger squeeze. If you jerk your trigger, it's going to throw your shot to the left and right. And the reason trigger control is the most important fundamental is because it affects your shot to the left and to the right. So most targets are taller than they are wide. Therefore, you have much more room for error when missing to the top and bottom. Today we covered the 4 fundamentals of marksmanship. I covered aiming, steady position, breathing, and trigger control. Thank you.